Harper, WWE 2k19 drop in today. Okay, so 7 things WWE series, whether that's this year or next year or in the future, whenever it is, this is the stuff they should be putting in the game. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my list. I'm also going to go through 2k19 with you into the different areas where I think these elements should be implemented. So we're going to start straight away with the belt stats. That's right, people, belt stats. Now, on every game that I have played, that I can remember playing of WWE, that the belt stats are missing certain things, and it means that the game isn't as authentic as it should be. So let me just go and show you this and what I mean. So if I go into a champion, let's say I go to, forget that one. There's not enough champions in there. Let's go to the WE Championship. Now I've got Randy Orton ready to go for my universe mode, but when I click on him, I go to times earned, and what you see is all these people who are current rosters on the game. These are people who are in the game itself. What I want to see is people who aren't in the game but are actually on the WWE website. So the official history should be on this game. And if that means that they have to sacrifice pictures of, you know, the computer generated images, then so if I could see all of the champions throughout history and the amount of times they've held the title and the days that they've held it for, so that I know exactly where in history I'm ranking when I win these titles. I'd also love, and this is a special little addition because I've just had the idea off the top of my head, it would be really cool if you could save under your account the history of the titles that you've won. So on 2K18, let's say you win a title 5 times, the WE Championship 5 times with your created star. Wouldn't it be cool if it saved it for next year and then added that information into next year's history so that it looks as though your character is becoming part of WE history? So that's number 1. Number 2, this is a bit more of a hard one to talk about. Legend music and entrances. Now, it's hard for me to get a picture for this, but you will get the idea. What I'd love to see in the game is Legends music and entrances that aren't on the game. So, for example, the $1 Million Man Ted Steer in 2K18 wasn't on the game. We had him as a manager, but we didn't have anything else in the game. We had his entrance, but we didn't have his music. What I want to see is some way around the royalty issue with music of getting all the old historical Legends music into the game. The entrances as well. I'd love to see like a handful of really classic wrestlers thrown into the game. So for example, this year Mankind has been taken out of the game. We've still got his entrance. It would be amazing to have some of the entrances from past iterations. Like the New Age Outlaws is a big deal to me. I love having them as a tag team on my game. I would love to have them in, but their entrance isn't on the game. I don't think they need special permission to do an entrance. Okay, there's the audio element to the New Age Outlaws, but you can just mute that and just simply make a workaround that's just the entrance without Road Dogg shouting his mouth off and then Billy Gunn doing the suck it at the end. So I'd love to see more Legends music and entrances. I really wish there was a way of doing that. I'm sure it could be done, even though it's probably a very complicated process in terms of royalties and music rights and composers, whoever owns the music itself. All that stuff is obviously going to be a problem, but I do think it's workable. I think that they could do it, they just choose not to. So, point 3 would be something that, again, affects me right now as a creator, is the editable hair and facial hair on copied stars. So if I go into my creations and go to the superstars and edit custom, you're going to see some of the guys that I've downloaded. But if I go to Booker T, because he's a guy that I created myself when I first started the game, what I want to do for Booker T is very, very simple. As you can see, I've gone back to like his 90s look when he was in Harlem Heat. But I want to be able to change his hair set from the dreadlocks, which he didn't have when he was in Harlem Heat. And I'd like to go back to that high fade thing he had. Even in 2K17, I think he was one of the DLC with Harlem Heat, and they gave him like his old high fade. What I want to see the games do from now on is add this back into the game so that whenever you copy a wrestler, you can then add features to them. For example, another guy that I would love to do this with is The Big Show. I've got WCW as part of my universe mode, and as you can see, I've got the Giant, but the problem is that the Giant is bald. And the Giant wasn't bald in WCW. He had a massive amount of hair. He had like a giant afro to go with the Giant name. So what I want to be able to do is add the afro back to the Giant so that we get a better, more authentic experience of WWE. Next one. Spots during matches. Now, this is controversial. This is my own idea. It's not something that is sort of thought in the box. This is more of an outside of the box concept. What I want to see happen, and you're going to have to bear with me on this because there's no real way I can show you in game because it doesn't exist. But the idea is that when you're playing a game, whenever you're playing a match, whatever match it is, I want to see them utilize either the little touchpad on the PS4, which is what I play on, or simple, you click start and it brings up a menu of different spots that you can do within the match. So for example, if I'm throwing an opponent towards the turnbuckle, when they're on the turnbuckle itself and I'm approaching them, what I want to be able to do is press start, and that's going to bring up a little drop down list of cutscenes. And then in the middle of the match, an automated cutscene that's been pre-made by WWE can kick in, doing a cool OMG style moment. So the point of this is that it flips things around. Rather than you just having to wrestle the match yourself and try and create these really cool little spots that are just really hard to sometimes. For example, setting a table on fire and power slamming somebody through it, or power bombing somebody through it rather. Don't power slam someone through a table because you get burned yourself. What I want to see is you to have the ability to actually set up and instigate spots that are automated, that cut in like a little cutscene in the middle of the game. So when a cutscene happens at the moment, you'll see a wrestler come down. Hello, Mr. West. I'm looking at your comment. Anyway, the game are just getting worse. I know, they get worse. Yeah, this game, I will say, is better than previous years. 2K19 is definitely an improvement from what they've done in the past. So I'm going to go back to what I was saying. The spots are all about being able to add in cutscenes in the middle of the match that are actually related to the match itself. So rather than just a cutscene where somebody comes down, attacks your wrestler in the middle of the match, and then you carry on, I actually want to see the two wrestlers interact. Maybe there could be a cutscene where, you know, there's a referee bump, so you could set up the match for that kind of comeback ending. So I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, tough. I can't explain it any better. I think it'd be a really cool idea. It would add another element of depth to the game itself, whether it's in single player or in universe mode. Just the ability to have that extra level of control. So, special guest referee is my next one. I do not understand why they haven't added it into the game. It's been so many years now. It just feels like they're teasing us by not having it in the game. It is a good game, I agree. Yeah, creating wrestlers, it is hard. It is hard, Mr. West. It takes a long time. I've done it already with a few guys, but hopefully they're going to improve this stuff. And all we can do is speak to them and let them know in a polite, nice way. Even if we're critical about it, just take out the bad language that we sometimes want to use for this stuff. But hopefully we'll get there. Popular demand eventually has to pay off. So anyway, special guest referee, it's a mode that should be in there. I'm not going to talk about that too much because I think it's obvious what I mean by it. They need to throw it into the game. There are other modes as well, other match modes that I really miss, but I won't go into those today. Number 6, new way of DLC being implemented in games. So again, this is a bit more out of the box. I'm a big Legends fan. I love the old school wrestling. I'm not a fan, if I'm honest, of the current product. I don't think it's that great. It's certainly better than it was about 5 years ago. But again, that's another debate for another time. What I want to see is I want to see 2K get real and start being more creative with the way that they introduce DLC to the games. What I would love to see them do is to add, let's say, 10 packs of 10 wrestlers as DLC. Okay, that's 100 wrestlers. That's a lot of wrestlers, okay? But stick with me. Each of those packs would maybe be like a WCW pack, and that would have 10 specific WCW wrestlers. And I could buy that pack for like £5, $5, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure 2K would charge way more than £5 for that. But there would be a set amount for 10 sets of 10 wrestlers. Now, what I would have to do, because there's an implication here on your happily, and this is only me personally, I would happily sacrifice one of my CAW spots if it meant I got one of the authentic old school wrestlers in my game. To do this as a sort of as an example for you, I'm thinking of like the Nation of Domination. I love them in my game. I love them in my universe mode. I create them every year. But if you gave me a DLC of 10 wrestlers from the Attitude Era in WWE, let's say the Nation of Domination, you give me the New Age Outlaws, you give me Hardcore Holly and Crash Holly, something like that, and then one or two more, and you say to me that's 10 quid, well, firstly I'm going to pay for it because I want those characters, I want the authentic characters, but secondly, I would happily sacrifice some of the core spots in order to get those into the game. So I hope you understand that, but that's what I'd love to see them do with DLC, even if it meant that we didn't need all of the DLC, because there are certain guys that I just don't want every year. There are guys in the current one, and I'm just like, next gen, I don't give a crap about. I'm not bothered about next gen wrestlers right now, because they're not good enough. They're still learning, they're early stage career, so it really doesn't entice me to buy that kind of product. Whereas if you said to me, here's 50 to 100 wrestlers that you can add, and you can basically either pay for all of them, or you can pay for like 20 or 30 or even 10, or you can pay like an individual fee, I'm much more likely to actually go and buy a load of characters, which means I'm spending more money, which is great for 2K, but it also means that I'm happy because I'm a fan and I'm actually playing the game. And it would also save me a whole load of time that I would usually waste creating and duplicating stars. Finally, the biggest thing, double title matches in universe mode. I've got to be honest, I haven't actually tested this in-game myself. There's a chance it could be in there. But I haven't seen anybody announce that double title matchups are in universe mode. If they are, please let me know. I'm pretty sure they're not, but I haven't played universe mode. I played it in the normal one-on-one mode, so I'll just go into that now just to prove it to you. If I just have like a normal match, set this up. I've got Kurt Angle somewhere. So I've got Kurt Angle, who's one of my title holders. I've got Randy Orton, who's one of my title holders. You guys all know how this works. Randy Orton holds my other title. You go into title match, confirm, select championship. Here we go. Double title match. Square. Now, this is obviously not in universe mode, but I do not understand why they can't add that as a feature to universe mode, especially this year because of the Money in the Bank briefcases. If you're going to have Money in the Bank involved as well with a title, it just kind of makes sense to me that you would throw these kind of double title match rules in so that you can win all of it, because ultimately Money in the Bank, I guess the idea is you give the Money in the Bank up when you win the title. But I would love to be able to just have double title matches. So that's it. That's my 7 things. If there are any more that you would want to add to the game, let me know. I'm going to be coming out with loads more videos like this as time goes by. I'm still creating loads of stuff, so please check out X Harper on the game for content. Make sure that you download some of the stuff I've got. I'm waiting to get more arenas in and stuff like that for you, nice little surprises. So X Harper on Twitter if you want to hook me up there, and IG, it's xharper.co. So until next time, thank you so much. What?